electric vehicle fans, Mark here with another installment of My EV Life. Here in Northern California, we're getting hit with another one of those bomb cyclones slash atmospheric river slash Pineapple Express combos, which means we're getting hit with a ton of rain in the Bay Area and many feet of snow up in the Sierra Mountain Range. So I'm taking the whole family up to Tahoe. We're taking both the Model Y and the Rivian R1T truck because we've got a lot of people. Now, we're going to be doing a lot of things in the snow. I'm going to be very busy. I'm not going to have time to set up the camera and take footage of both vehicles performing in the snow. I'll do that next time. However, I do have something interesting to share. On my way up to Tahoe, I'm going to be passing 2 Rivian charge stations. And I've never charged my Rivian truck at a Rivian charge station. These things are brand spanking new. So I'm going to stop at the one at Sacramento and stop at the one at Truckee, and I'm going to see what I learn. And I'm going to share that with you here today. Let's go.
Hold on, I can't do a video without an agenda, so here's what we're going to cover. Nav Planning, then we're going to stop at the Rivian Charger in Sacramento, move on to the one in Tahoe. We'll actually be there twice, so we'll do 3 charges total. And when we're at those stations, I'm going to show you how to find them, what's in the area, how to pick the right charge spot, what charging speeds are you going to see, what did I witness with the cold weather charging, my tips on preconditioning the battery, and then also knowing the availability before you get there. And that's our agenda. Oh, and also don't forget to subscribe to my channel down below and like this video so more people around the world can see it.
Alright, as I climb into the R1T truck, let me remind you that I've got plenty of videos out there that talk about range and trip planning and using the navigation system. So I'm not going to rehash that, but I'm going to show you a couple of quick things about this trip real quickly. So let me show you what I got here on this screen. If I go to navigation, you can see that I've got the Truckee trip up here. And I want to make the point that it says it's a 199-mile range to get to our destination. And now I am charging the vehicle right now, so these numbers are all going to look a little bit skewed. But if you go here to the charge screen and you click on the range, it'll tell you that if and when you get fully charged up, your range is 294 miles in conserve mode, 276 in all-purpose mode. And, you know, I've shown this before in my trip to Pismo video. I do get that 294 in conserve mode. Now, going up the mountains, if you hit a lot of bad weather, you're going to want to come into the back to all-purpose because that'll give you the 4-wheel drive. So I would get 276 going up to Tahoe. All right, so if we get 276 or 294, and our destination is only 200 miles, why do we need to stop for charging? Well, kind of the purpose of this video is to show you the new Rivian High-speed Charge network. So we are going to stop. I have done this drive before and not stop, so it can be done, but it cuts a little bit close, so it's nice to stop. All right, so let's take a look here at our charge station. So you see here on the navigation that you don't see any of the Rivian Chargers. Well, let's do this real quickly. First of all, let me start the navigation and then pop back out to the full view. And looking here at the navigation, let's find those Rivian charge stations. So first of all, let's turn on the view of all charge options. Let's go and filter down to only the fast high-speed ones over 100 kilowatt speed. And we just want to see the Rivian network. So let's press that. Voila, there we go. Okay, so now it's showing me 3 on the map. Actually, no, excuse me, it's showing me 2. This is the one we're going to stop at first. This is Sacramento. And then the second one at our destination is in Truckee, but how come I don't see it? It's kind of interesting. Let's go ahead and zoom in a little bit. There. For some reason, this has happened on multiple days I've come in here and looked at it. You don't see the Truckee charge station unless you zoom in. Not a big deal, but there it is right there. Now, one thing you can't do, unfortunately, when you're actually navigating on a trip, which I already started, is you can't get information on these charge stations. So if I click on it like this, I'm not getting anything. It's not telling me anything. So what you have to actually do is end your navigation and then come back to the full map here. So now look at the charge stations without being in navigation mode. So you're not navigating anywhere. And now when you click on a charger, you get information, right? You see 6 chargers here. Go back. And you see this one here. I can click on that one. And there's 6 chargers there. Notice what also happened. The moment you click on a charge station, it assumes you want to head there and starts navigating you there. It's not a bad thing. Just click on it and it starts your navigation. So now it's saying, okay, you're going to head straight to the Sacramento charge station. It's 94 miles and it's getting you on your way there. Another reason why you want to navigate to a charge station instead of your final destination, and I'll show this on the road, is that when you're about a half hour out, Rivian starts to prepare you for fast charging. When you're about, I think 30 miles out, I've noticed, it will actually start to warm up the battery with the heaters to make sure that you get the fastest possible charge when you arrive. So it prepares you for fast charging if you're navigating to the actual charge station instead of your final destination. Now, Rivian doesn't quite yet offer waypoints. I'll talk a little bit more about that later. So you have to do one or the other. So you either navigate to your final destination or you navigate to the charger on the way. You can't do both. Not a big deal. I'll show you how that works while we're driving. Now, another thing I want to show you is that you can plan some of this trip using the phone. So I'm going to go ahead and grab my phone here. I'm going to stop recording the video of the screen, and I'm going to go to the Rivian app, and I'm going to go ahead and do a screen record. 3, 2, 1. There, now you guys are seeing my screen. Pretty cool tech. All right, so here I am in the Rivian app. You can see this is live information. There's the same mile range that you saw on my other screen. And I'm going to go ahead and click on the charging network. And there it is, pretty much what you saw on the truck's display. But the reason why you would want to use this app is it's a little bit easier to use this while you're in the middle of navigating the vehicle. So if you want to hand this to one of your passengers, they can get a lot of information on all the different options for charging without stopping what's going on the main screen. So, or maybe you just want to plan the trip, in your house. But here I am clicking on the charge station in Truckee, and this is cool because you actually get more information here. I clicked on the charger, and I'm getting more information on availability, but I'm also getting information on the speeds. See here, this is a 200 kilowatt charging station. That is really fast, by the way. You guys are going to love this when we get there. And I can come out of that one, I can go over here, click on the Sacramento one. This is even a little bit faster. And you see here, this is 218 kilowatt speed, and it shows you the type of chargers they have. And by the way, this Sacramento charger that we're going to stop at, it's at an REI. So it's kind of nice. So I'll show you that. You can do a little shopping at REI for the mountains before while your vehicle is charging. All right, so that is a good view of the charging planning on your phone. Let me show you one more thing. If you click on a Rivian charge station here, I'm going to go ahead and actually select a specific charging spot. I can hit send to vehicle. And there it is. I wish I could show it to you, but I'm not recording my screen. It just sent the destination to my navigation system, and now the truck is navigating to that charge station. So kind of cool. You can find where you want to go here in the Rivian app, select the charger, hit send to truck, and a second later it pops up on the screen. It starts navigating you there in the vehicle. Very cool. Very, very cool. So that's it for navigation. Now let's hit the road and get to that Rivian charge station in Sacramento.
So for the remainder of the video, I'll be adding commentary post-production. I'm back home now. I wasn't able to add the audio and do all that filming with all these people with me in 2 cars. So I'll be doing it now in this floating head technique. So earlier I said that you cannot add waypoints, and let me show you how that played out. I'm navigating to Tahoe. I'm about 30 minutes out of the charge station in Sacramento where I want to stop, and I want to tell the truck we're stopping there, but I can't. Not only can you not add a waypoint when you're mid-navigation, but you can't even click on the charger, which you see here on the map, and get any information on it. So the solution is that you have to end your navigation and start a new one to the charge station. Let me back that up and I'll show you as I do it. And of course, once you're done charging at that Rivian station, you have to restart the navigation to your final destination, for me, Truckee Tahoe. But the cool feature I spoke to earlier, and you see it here, is that once you tell the vehicle you are navigating to a charge station, it starts to prepare you for that by warming the batteries. The warmer batteries will charge faster. So it's getting you ready to optimize your charge stop. I'd recommend doing this at least 20 miles, if not 30 miles out from the charge station. So here's a Sacramento REI Rivian charge station on a map. and zoomed into the parking lot, you're going to make a left and a left and a left, and you're going to find them to the left of the REI store. And here's what that looks like as you're making your turn off the road. It might be kind of easy to miss that. Now, there are two important things that you should know as you're deciding which station to pull into. One, not all the chargers are high speed. There are 6 high-speed level 3 chargers and 2 slower level 2 chargers. Now, I made the mistake of picking the slow one first, and I quickly realized my mistake. The high-speed spots have bigger towers, so look for that. And then when you go to plug it in, if you see this is the J1772 plug. You don't want that. You want this guy, the bigger guy, the CCS1 plug, and that's for the fast level 3 charging speed. And the second thing you should realize, and this really did throw me for a loop when I first pulled up, is that Rivian, for some reason, installs their chargers backwards. The display on the charger faces away from the vehicle it's meant to charge. And this is really confusing. All Rivian vehicles charge on the front left side of the vehicle, but the charge station facing you is on the front right. You see that display. So you have to plug into the station on the front left. That's the only one that's going to work for you. And that display faces the spot next to you. Don't ask me why. I have no idea why this is going on. It's mind-boggling to me. Leave comments below if you happen to know why Rivian chose to do this. And it's not because you're supposed to back into them. I tried that. The hose is too short for you to do that. So this is just the way it's got to be. So let's focus on the charging. So we plug it in, and you can see from the charger display that it starts out rather slow, but then it starts to pick up speed. And by the time I get into the vehicle, I'm charging at 140 watt kilowatt speed, which is pretty fast. Now, my home charger is only 11 kilowatts. And on any road trip with my Rivian or my Tesla, I strive to hit 150 kilowatts. That's a really good charge. Anything above 75, I'm usually okay with it. So here I am at 140. Now, as we've discussed in other videos, on any EV, when the battery is low, it charges fast. When the battery is getting more full, it charges slower. Now, I stopped here at 64%, which is not a really efficient time to stop for a charge, but I wanted to see this station. If I was near empty, I'm pretty sure I would get the rated speed of this charge station, which is 218 kilowatts. That's blazing fast. The Rivian itself, the vehicle, can never charge right now above 220. That's its max until they have a new software update later this year that gets it to 300. Right now, 220 is the max of a Rivian truck. So at 140, at 64% full, I'm pretty happy with that. So let's look around and notice a few things. One, the last high-speed charger is off to the side. You have to turn around and look back the other way. And there you see it there. It's a rather large spot. That's a trailer charging spot. It's long enough to accommodate a Rivian truck plus a trailer or a boat. However, don't be surprised if you arrive here with the trailer and find some Yahoo is parked in the extra space. So there we are charging away. And yes, as you see there, you can charge a Tesla here. The guy here you see in the picture, he says that he uses this charger. It's worked for him before. Now that is a level 2 charger. So that is going to be at the 11 kilowatt speed. And he says he simply takes the Tesla adapter and he has to plug it in and out a few times. He gets a few errors, but then eventually it sticks and starts charging. So it's working for him. So one great thing about this charge station in Sacramento, it's at an REI store. So you can just head in, buy some great gear for the mountains. You can use their bathrooms, which are very nice and clean. There's even some snacks you can grab. So it's an easy way to kill 40 minutes if you need to. It's also an easy way to spend a few $100, but it's real nice and convenient to have this option while you're waiting for a charge. So we bought some stuff. We used the bathrooms. We're back 20 minutes later, and you can see the vehicle's telling you the charge speed is slower now that we're at 84% full, down to a charge speed of only 51 kilowatts. So it's really not worth it, in my opinion, to sit around and charge any longer when it's slowing down because the battery's getting that full. I just find it's time to pack up and head off to your next stop. So we're going to head on our way out to Tahoe and say goodbye to this charge station. Now, you can see the stats here inside the vehicle. In 21 minutes, we've got 27.5 kilowatts of electricity added to the vehicle. To put that into perspective, that's about 22% of my battery's capacity added in 20 minutes. Okay? So we added almost a quarter of our battery. But if we had arrived with a nearly empty battery, we would have gotten a lot more electricity into the vehicle in those 20 minutes, as I talked about earlier. So if you head outside and disconnect the charger, you're also going to get some stats there on the machine. It says here we were at 21 minutes, 28.1 kilowatts kilowatt hours added. And the peak charging speed was 146 kilowatts. All right. Now, the best stat of all, you see it right there on the screen, free. This charge was free. No cost to charge your Rivian when you're a Rivian owner at a Rivian station, which is awesome. All right. So we're going to head to the mountains now and go see the other new Rivian charge station in Truckee. So we've just left Sacramento, and you can see that we will make it here to Truckee in an hour and a half, and we will get there with 104 miles of range remaining, which is really good. Now, I forgot to navigate to the charge station. I'm just navigating to the town of Truckee, so you don't see it showing up here. But now I've dialed it in, and you can see that I'm navigating to the charger, and I'm almost there. The charge station is located just off the freeway on Donner Pass Road, the first shopping center just north of the freeway. And when you pull into the shopping center, it's right there facing the road. You can't miss it. And in this center, for convenience, you have the coffee bar, you have the Tahoe Dave skis and snowboards, and then across the street, you have Smokey's Kitchen. So several places to relax, get food, beverages, do a little shopping, and be on your way. So my first attempt at charging failed. This charge station was hung up. It was crashed, the software wasn't working, it just said starting up and never really started up. So I moved the car, went down to spot 1B, and this one was working just fine. It says plug in to charge your Rivian. That's a sign that this thing is ready to go. You plug it in, and you're on your way. And I don't know if you've noticed, but there's no credit card, there's no screens to go through, there's no logging in, there's no long menu like I've seen at public charge stations. You just plug it in and it starts, which is really nice. And within, I'd say, 10 seconds, the charge is really cranking up. I get up to 170, 180, and then within about 15, 20 seconds, I'm already approaching the max charging speed of a Rivian, which is 220 kilowatts. I'm at 213 kilowatts. And then I head inside the vehicle and see the display there, and it confirms that I am charging at an enormously fast speed of 215 kilowatts, and my battery is at a capacity of 41%. So let's step out. I want to show you the site, and I want to share something I learned about the availability. Remember this icon here on the navigation telling you how many spots are available, 3 out of 6? And this one here on the app doing the same thing? Well, I learned that these numbers are not 100% accurate and reliable, and I'm going to show you why. So here's the first charger. It's available and unused, ready to go. The second one is working and it's being used. The third one is out of order and it knows it. The fourth one that I first tried to use, it's crashed and it doesn't know it's not working. So this is the problem child. The network does not know this one is down, so it counts it as an available charger. And that's a little bit of a problem. And then we have the fifth charger here, and that's the one that I'm using. Now this is a 6 charger station, so where's the 6th one? Well, for that you just have to spin around, look a little further away into the middle of the parking lot, and there it is. It's the extra long trailer spot. And so to wrap up that point on availability, this information here is going to be off by 1. When it says there are 3 out of the 6 available, 3 high-speed chargers available, there's actually only 2 high-speed chargers available. So a quick recap on the charging session I had here. We only stayed for 18 minutes. We went from 41% to 71%, and we gained 47 kilowatt hours of electricity. So that was a pretty efficient stop. So I think that's all I can share about this charge location. But I do want to share what I learned when I came back 2 days later. And that has to do with temperature and time. So on this early morning charge, it's 8 a.m. and the air temps were in the upper 30s, but we're coming out of a real cold night outside. Our cabin was 10 minutes away, so when I navigated from there to the charger, the batteries were only warming for 10 minutes when I started the charge. And you can see here that was just not enough time. The batteries are a bit slow. The charge rate is only 27 kilowatts when you should see 150 to 200. And the message you see here says charging slower while batteries are warming. So after plugging the truck in, seeing this, I went into the coffee shop. I come back 10 minutes later, and now it's warming up and it's underway, and the speeds are getting more reasonable. I'm seeing 121 kilowatt speed, And then 3 minutes later, it's up to 142, then 143 kilowatt speed. So the problem is solved, mostly, because we never really got up to the ultra-fast speeds on this colder morning. Remember 2 days earlier at this exact charger in the afternoon, I got over 200 plus kilowatts of speed. So let me show you what I achieved. At 32% of battery full, I was charging at 142 kilowatts. And then this is when I went over to Smokey's and got some breakfast, and I come back. It's at 50% full, and I'm charging at 165 kilowatt speed. And that's really the peak that I saw on this charge session, 165 versus over 200 in the afternoon 2 days prior. So now we'll see as the battery starts to get more full, those speeds are going to go down. At 65% full, it goes down to 121 speed. 70% full, I'm at 84. 80% full, my speed's down to 56. And 85% full, I'm down to 53. So I'm just eating my breakfast now, finishing up. I'm not really sitting around at this slower speed. So now that I'm done eating, I'm going to wrap up. So when I end my session at 89% battery full, my charging speed's down to 43, 42 kilowatts. So the takeaway here is that 10 minutes of pre-charging the battery in cold weather conditions was not enough. 20 minutes would be the minimum, and 30 minutes would be even better. Now, let's just keep in mind here that I wasn't getting horrible speeds. I was still getting pretty good speeds, but still, to get the optimal speed, you want to pre-charge for a half hour. Now, how would I do that, though, if I'm staying at a cabin that's only 10 minutes away from the charger and I wake up on a cold morning? Well, I just tried the little trick here where I would tell the truck through my app that I was going to go for a charge, like you saw me do earlier in this video, and the vehicle's supposed to start navigating to that location. However, I went down to my driveway and got in my truck, and it didn't really start navigating to the location until I got in the vehicle. And then it did not start pre-charging the battery until I put my foot on the brake to start to drive. So I really don't know how you can get around it. The best way to pre-charge for a half hour prior to charging your vehicle on a cold morning is probably just to go down to the vehicle early and get it started. But if you have a workaround or any other tips on how to pre-charge in cold weather, please leave some comments down below. So one last thing I can think of to show you about these charge stations are the colors, since it's a little bit darker here in the morning. You see here the light is on in this one. This is an available charger. The light is not on in this one. That one is down. It's frozen. Or to be more accurate, it's doing a software reboot. This is red. This one's broken, not working. And there's green being charged and white available. And finally, I will note that which chargers were down, which ones were frozen or rebooting, were not the same on one day versus the next day. So that leads me to believe that they're probably cycling some of these through with software updates, and or some technician has been coming by to work on them. So that's good news. So the ones that are down or have problems, they are addressing them. So that's it for my video. And let me just share that I am ecstatic that the Rivian Charge Network has expanded to the point where I'm now bumping into them on the places that I go. And I use the word ecstatic for a couple of reasons. Four, actually. There's 4 reasons why a Rivian Charger is better than anything out there on the public network. They are free, they are fast, they're available, and they are easy. Free, self-explanatory. Fast, you saw I was getting the fastest possible charge my truck could take at that time. Available, so I didn't have to wait, and I have seen people wait 30 to 60 minutes at public charge stations before they could get their spot. Now, this could obviously change over time. Rivian will become more popular, more Rivians will be on the road, but right now, no waiting in line. And the 4th reason is it's easy. If you've seen my video, the road trip to Pismo, you saw that I spent over 15 agonizing minutes once at a public charger just trying to get through all the menus and sign up and get it to work, and then getting moved to the next one and doing it all over again. All I had to do was plug in and go, much easier. And my final 2 tips for you are, 1, go look out there for Rivian Chargers. They actually may have popped up and you aren't aware of it, so go find them. And 2, when you go to them, pre-charge, precondition that battery so when you get there, you get the optimal speed. And my final couple of asks for you are, if you go out there and experience a Rivian Charger for the first time, please leave some comments back here with me. I'd love to hear how it goes. Also, please subscribe down below if you haven't already. And lastly, head out on my channel, see some of the other videos I have out there. And speaking of videos, I need to go outside and record one right now. This afternoon, I'm going to show you how I installed my Yakima ski and snowboard rack that's built to attach to the Rivian rack. It's very cool. All right, I'll see you on that video when it's ready. But until then, you have yourself a great EV day.